Come on, man, you read the title, right? Today we're going to be talking about LSD versus the shroomskis. Because this is something that a lot of people in the Discord server, shout out to the fucking Discord server, yes sir, have been asking me about and have been requesting me to do a video about my thoughts and my experiences on LSD versus the shroomskis. So without further ado, let's get it. Now, let's start off with acid. LSD, that's what I first took. And I want to preface this by saying, I'm not telling you that you should take these or that you should not take these. I'm just talking about my experiences, what I think, the wisdom I've gained from these substances, and this and that. If you want to go out and do it, go ahead, man, by all means. If you don't want to do it, by all means, bro, stay out of this lane. It's all up to you, bro. Don't say it's my fault that I persuaded you or I told you not to do it. Come on, man. Let's just talk about it as civil human beings. All right? So, LSD, that's what I first took. To me, LSD is much more stimulating and much more psychological than it is spiritual with the shrooms, and we're going to talk about that later. But what I mean by that is your brain feels like it just knows everything, that everything fucking finally makes sense. It's very clear, it's very sharp, it's just firing, bro. If you've taken Adderall before and stuff like that, I've talked about on my video microdosing LSD for 90 days. I talked about how the microdose in itself feels like a natural version of Adderall. The bigger doses feel like the limitless pill. Like you just feel like you got it, you got everything locked down, you know what you're doing, bro. And you can go and function about, not on a real dose, you can't really go function about your day-to-day life, but you feel like you damn near can. If you're up to the task, you can do that. Oh man, Lola. My dog just ran into the camera, but we're gonna keep it rolling. It's way more brain stimulating, and it's far more psychologically in tune, as you can really get into your psyche and really pull out different parts of your brain and kind of like examine them like a surgeon almost, because you're so sharp, you're so clear, you're so in tune, and you're so focused that you can really just pick apart everything to its base principles. That's why a lot of these people in Silicon Valley don't really microdose shrooms. What they do is they microdose LSD, acid. All these people, Steve Jobs, the Apples, the Microsofts, all these people that are making the big tech companies, they are more known to microdose LSD. And that's for a reason, because you're so like dialed in and sharp that it really helps you look at different problems from a higher perspective. You can see certain links to the patterns of life, and you can really mesh them all together to make your own solution. If A to B isn't working, a lot of people will just keep going A to B, A to B, A to B, keep hitting their head on the wall, wondering that something else is going to happen. That is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping for a different result. But when you have a higher perspective and a very stimulated perspective, you're able to see A to B, A to C, A to Z, A to T, A to G, all that stuff, man. You can go through different routes and stuff like that, and your brain on these scans of psychedelics, not just LSD in general, shows you how these neural pathways that were so dormant and essentially dead for such a long period of time start firing, becoming active. Like a good analogy I like to say with this is that say you're driving from work and you always take one path. Driving to work and you always take one path. That one path is on the highway going south. Every single day you do that. And let's say one day there's a construction there, the road's blocked, and you're essentially having to find a new path, and you don't even know what to do. You're so molded into that one state of just that mode of being that you kind of forget about, like, oh man, I can take the side streets, I can take this other freeway, I can take the train, I can take the bus, I can go ride my bike. Like, there's so many different options. Psychedelics allow you to do that. It's very similar to living in a state when you were a kid. A child is, their brain is so neurally plastic. That's what it's called, neuroplasticity. It's like Play-Doh. It can shift and it can mold, it can adapt to different environments, different situations, different circumstances. But as you grow older, that just locks down. And when it comes to acid, that opens it up, especially on the psychological, the mind, and the brain level. Not as much spiritual. It is very spiritual still, but is not as much as shrooms. We'll talk about that. Hold up. So, in general, if you're somebody who wants to figure out a problem that's very, very, it seems like it's just in your way all the time. You've tried all these different options. If you take acid, it's gonna make sense right then and there. I'm not joking to you. I'm not telling you go do it, motherfucker, but I'm saying it's gonna make sense right there. And it's crazy because acid trips are much longer too, much longer, like 10 hours, 12 hours, and you usually can't go to sleep because you're so stimulated. After shrooms, you do them the right way, you can go to sleep, you'll be fine. And side note, I only do psychedelics, even microdoses, out on hikes, out in nature, out detached. I don't go do no shit at festivals, these raves, these concerts. Hell no. I'll get way too overwhelmed and I'll freak out and I'll just be like just in a bad state of mind. And that's why it's so important to have intent, have a good set and setting. They always say that, set and setting. And I'm gonna make a whole psychedelic guide, how to take it the right way, on my Patreon that's gonna drop in live soon. So if you are in tune with these type of topics I talk about, especially on this channel, because it's not gonna be no cuts, no edits, no nothing like that. It's just gonna be raw talks about higher sources of knowledge, higher things that I'd speak on the main channel as well as here. And I'm gonna put it all in a more kind of like almost like a ongoing course on my Patreon. And there's going to be other things like access to more digital libraries that I've put together for you guys, as well as exclusive content like I'm saying right now. There's going to be monthly masterminds in certain tiers where we group up together and we come together and we speak on whatever topics to help each other out along the way, essentially like a Zoom call or like a what they call a Socratic circle, where we can debate things, where we can ask questions, where you guys can directly talk to me in a group setting, like we're all sitting here together instead of just always on the screen. So if you're in tune with that, there's definitely going to be a psychedelic guide in there that is not going to be out here on YouTube, because I'm going to give it to the people who are really searching for this type of knowledge, and that I can provide them actual real deal information that you're not going to find anywhere else. It's only coming from me, because it's coming from my experiences, my wisdom, my knowledge. And if you fuck with me, you want to support me, as well as get all this different type of sauce I'm talking about right now, wait for the Patreon. But I digress. Like I said before, do them out on hikes, do them out in nature, detach from your phone, detach from technology. If you are able to, have the next day completely do nothing. Like, do nothing. You grab a journal and just write down all the stuff you learned. Don't go to work the next day. Don't go to the gym the next day. Don't go hang out with your friends the next day. Just let all those psychedelic juices marinate in your brain, especially on acid, man, because you're not going to go to sleep, bro. At least for me, I can never go to sleep after acid, man. I'm up all night. I feel like I'm Nikola Tesla or like Albert Einstein. I'm like, man, I'm gonna just invent the next greatest fucking thing, bro, when I'm on acid, especially. Even microdoses, man. Your brain is just so open, but it's so sharp. So sharp. Because you can have an open brain like a child, and everything, you become so susceptible to everything. If somebody tells you this, you're gonna go follow that. If somebody tells you that, you're gonna follow that. But as an adult, when you're more mature, when your brain is more developed, you have the discernment helping you, but that discernment, like I said before, locks your brain. You don't want to try anything else new. So if you open that up a little bit, and you add in the open mind, the plasticity I'm talking about right now about psychedelics, you are balancing the best of both worlds. You're not gonna fall for the bullshit, but you're also gonna be more open to see other different types of avenues of life you can go about with whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, with whatever it is that you're currently dealing with. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I think acid, a lot of people either hate it or they love it. I've never talked to somebody that was like, yeah, it was cool. If they say that, it's usually they didn't take enough. They didn't really trip. They just got a little buzz. They got a little high. But if you take a real trip of acid, man, you're either gonna hate it or you're gonna love it. Because you're either gonna hate the stimulation that it gives you, or you're gonna love that feeling of just, you're amped, you're geeked, but you're also so clear and concise, and your brain is firing on all cylinders. That's why even afterwards, like I said before, why you should take a complete day off. Your brain needs to come back into normal levels. You're essentially redlining your brain, which feels damn good sometimes, bro. Which feels damn good sometimes, because other stimulants, like I said, Adderall, it makes you more like robotic, man. Like, I'm gonna go study for my final exam. Like, it's whack. It's boring as fuck too. But some people love that shit. A lot of people who like stimulants a lot love Adderall. They love coffee. They love energy drinks. They love other stimulants, cocaine, this and that. I'm not saying do none of that shit, bro. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just talking about my experience with psychedelics. Remember that. I'm not telling you to do nothing. So, like I said, you're either gonna hate it or you love it. I personally love it. The first time I took it, I loved it. I'm like, man, I'm geeked. Because you might seem like I'm a laid back person on the videos, which I am. I would say I am. But man, when I get geeked, I am geeked. I got energy. And you combine that with the SR I've been on, man. If I take acid right now, man, I'll be geeked. Geeked. And it's fun. It's fun being geeked. Like, when I'll take it, I'll just want to go run 10 miles, bro, when it finally starts kicking in. The come up is more clean than shrooms. You're not gonna get as nauseous, but you're gonna get a huge jolt of energy, like a crazy jolt of energy that just makes you want to go and just run through a brick wall, bro. At least me, man. Like, it's crazy. So, but once you calm down into the state, man, you just want to think, and you kind of want to just like absorb everything. You want to let your mind kind of start churning and working in its gears, and you're gonna find a lot of potholes along the way in your brain that you're like, man, like, this is the thing that's been holding me back for fucking years, bro. Now I finally see it clear as day, bro. Like, and when you come back to it, and if you write it down, like I said before, you have to write down all your trips. I don't care what it is, bro. The next day, do a trip report, whether that's videos like this or that's writing down. And I might do trip report videos on the Patreon too, talking about all the nitty gritty details of my trips, the trips I've taken before, the trips I plan to take, this and that, because that's a cool little type of content that I've always loved watching. When I first got into psychedelics and this and that, I loved watching other people's trip reports. I loved watching other people's experiences to not influence me. I don't want their experience to go into my head, but I wanted to see what this psychedelic world is really all about. What it is like taking a 200 UG microgram a dose of acid. What it's like taking 5 G's of shrooms. Like, I want to see what other people go through, because even though we're all gonna have different experiences, at the end of the day, it's gonna gives you kind of a heads up of like, oh man, we're going down into the deep end on this bitch. Like, we're throwing ourselves out in the middle of the ocean. We're either gonna learn to swim or we're gonna drown. Drip or drown, baby. Like, you get what I'm saying? So that is why it's so essential to not only educate yourself about this stuff, but also further reconcile everything that you went through on that trip through a journal, through a video, through not even just talking to people. That's not going to be enough. You gotta have the notes or the video you can go back to and listen to or read that allows you to kind of, even in your sober state, tap back into those levels that you were in before. You're not going to really get into those states unless you're your supreme yogi who can damn near drop DMT into his brain at will. Like, you're not gonna be able to do that if you're just a guy going about his life. But if those experiences were that powerful, the just reading it or listening back to those emotions will put you back in that state psychologically, and that's going to help you when you go throughout those problems again, that it can bring you to those states, and then your brain will just expand right then and there, especially on acid, man. Especially on acid, because you can really recall things on acid. You're not so warped out into a different world. The best way I can describe it is like, it's like the Matrix. You see the Matrix, you see the code to reality. While shrooms, on the other hand, it's like you're in another world. You're like in fucking Narnia. You're in Lord of the Rings. Like, you're just not in this place no more. Like, it's just a completely different world in itself. So now that's said about enough about acid, let's talk about the shrooms, since that's a good little segue. Shrooms, bro, man, those are just like a different thing. Like, acid, you can tell it's a drug. It's an actual, not synthetic, but it's a lab-made drug. It's very clean. You feel it's like a hit. You're taking a hit of something. Shrooms, it's like somebody, an entity or a being is grabbing your hand, either forcefully because you're too scared, or it's literally holding your hand and bringing you throughout a journey, an experience, a trip, where you're on higher doses, where you're not in the same realm. You're in the astral plane, damn near, bro. You're in the spiritual world. You're in a completely different thing, and you can tell why a lot of ancient religions and ancient philosophies, and ancient spiritual traditions had shrooms in their what's it called, paintings and artwork, because they say it's heavily influenced by it. Even Christianity, like, if you want to, I'm gonna break this stuff down on the Patreon, like I'm telling you, bro. I'm about to get real deep with it, but I'm giving you a little nugget right here. Manna from God on the when Moses came down Mount Sinai and all this stuff and that, and the Israelites were out in the desert and they needed food. God gave them manna from the sky. They think it's bread, but if you really look at the details, they say it was like frost on the ground. So how the fuck does bread grow from the ground? Come on, man. These are all metaphors. These are all allegories. And if you look into it, the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which is a psychedelic mushroom, it's not psilocybin, but it's a similar type of concept to it, similar type of deal to it, grows like frost on the ground. Mycelium looks like a web, or like basically a spider web, like frost on the ground in the mornings if you're in a cold area. It looks just like that. So come on, you put two and two together, and you see how these people are getting transcendental experiences on these type of trips and stuff like that, to give these religious and spiritual, intuitive channeling abilities. It's very similar to shrooms. Like, it's dead on, and I'm gonna break it down even further, way more, a full lecture, bro, that puts it all together. And funny enough, this manna was also a part of what's inside the Ark of the Covenant. Come on, man. But I digress. Like, the whole ideal, like, of shrooms, what I'm saying is, when you take it and you take it the right way, you're out in nature, you're out by yourself or with a couple of good friends, or you're just trying to really tap into a spiritual sense. That's where you got to have a right set and setting and a good intention. What do you want to do this for? Are you doing it to just turn up at a rave, or are you doing this to get a little taste of that gnosis, that inner knowledge, that inner wisdom that's hidden within you, and activate it with these shrooms? Because that's what they are. I've talked about it before on this channel. There are steroids for spirituality. They get you to these states, these higher levels of consciousness like that, but you don't keep it. Like taking steroids at the gym, it gets you jacked like that, but you don't keep it. You get off the steroids, you get off the shrooms, you lose those spiritual gains and you lose those physical gains. But they can give you a little taste of what it's all about. So they can make you go about, steroids, no, they're gonna fuck your shit up, but psychedelics, they might fuck your shit up, but it'll give you a little taste of like, man, I wanna get to the point of some of these self-realized masters, these sages, these saints, these yogis. I want to taste what they're doing, because they're in that state 24/7 on command whenever they want, but they gotta work towards it. They gotta do the practices towards it, just like you working in the gym. They're doing the same thing when it comes to the soul. So shrooms will definitely give you that experience. It will definitely, bro. Like, it's the sacred geometry you get on shrooms. I don't get it as much on acid, but you see some fractals and this and that. But the sacred geometry you get on shrooms, it's insane, bro. Like, sometimes, I remember this one time I came back from a shroom trip, and I was looking up at my wall in my room, and the wall has like textures to it, and those walls started morphing into a lot of Islamic artwork, like mosques and stuff like that. If you look up at mosques, you can go look this up after this, they have a lot of sacred geometrical influence to their design, their architecture. It's beautiful, man. I was seeing all that stuff. I was like, damn, bro, this is beautiful stuff, bro. And you'll get that if you take a decent amount of shrooms, you get a higher dose. You'll see that as you go about your hike, you go about your trip. It's breathtaking, because it's your, I don't know if it's your subconscious mind painting this picture for you, or you're kind of seeing through the veil of this illusion. Because obviously, us as humans, we're capped out at our physical senses. We can't see everything other animals do, like bats or cats or dolphins. Like, we can't use echolocation, we can't hear all the sounds, we can't see all the vibrations, so we're capped out. So my theory is that, especially on shrooms, you tap into more of your abilities, your psychic abilities, your even physical abilities. Like I said, you can look at things more. Hey, relax. Digging right under the tripod, man. Hey! Hey! Get up! Get up! Come here. My bad. Let me let this situation handle itself. But yeah, you can tap into higher levels of just your being, bro, and you can either see things that aren't always there, whether that's psychologically in your own brain or out in the physical world. You might see things where in your own brain where you're not doing this right, but it's always been a certain way you could go about it, and the shrooms will make it way more clear to you, especially on the soul level, man. Like, my spiritual awakening, I'll do a whole video on this channel about spiritual awakenings versus actual self-realization later on, because a lot of people get that mixed up. Spiritual awakening is just a wake-up moment. It isn't the end-all be-all. You're not enlightened once you have a spiritual awakening. You're just starting the process. You're just starting the progress. Like, it ain't shit. Like, you just stepped into the gym. You just realized, man, this isn't all what life is, the material. It is far more than that. And shrooms help me do that, and shrooms help a lot of people do that. LSD, not as much. It could, depending on the person, but shrooms for sure, man. It just drops you into a different world, especially if you take a bigger dose, man. Especially if you really go balls deep into that bitch. Oh man, it's gonna rock your shit, because you gotta be ready. Like I said before, acid feels more like a drug versus shrooms feel like an entity, a spirit, a being, a teacher, or a guru. Like, it can talk to you, not verbally or in audible language, but it speaks to you. It teaches you stuff. LSD is more you digging into yourself and teaching yourself certain things. Rather, shrooms is like you're a student, and it's gonna give you some real deal spiritual sauce if you're up for the game, if you're up for the count. Like, it's gonna give you it, and sometimes it's gonna give you it whether you like it or not, and sometimes it's gonna give you to the point where you're gonna have almost damn near psychosis afterwards, because you don't know how to piece it together in your sober state. Like, my spiritual awakening, man, I had a whole video about this on the main channel if you want to check it out. but I left out a lot of stuff because even at that point, which was 2 years after, I still didn't get the full grasp. And still to this day, I don't have the full grasp of it, but I'm piecing it up layer by layer, piece by piece, day by day, brick by brick, and like it's just making more and more sense of what I saw, what I experienced, what I was taught, what I was, the wisdom that was channeled into me intuitively. So when you take shrooms and stuff like that, don't expect it to be so clear and concise as things like acid. Acid, it's gonna make sense to you the day after. It's gonna make sense to you during it. But shrooms, it might not make so much sense to you afterwards, and you might be so overwhelmed in the moment that it makes sense to you, but you cannot conceptualize it, especially if you go with the higher doses and an ego death happens, where you have no recollection of who you are, what's your name. I remember when I had the ego death, man, this is when I knew I was gonna go, I was going under, bro. This is when I knew I was going under. It was right before the whole disillusion of my ego happened, but there was a wrapper, like of like a protein bar on the ground, and I was reading it, and it said like 30 calories. I was like, fuck, dude, what does that even mean, bro? What does that even mean? And right now, when you're sober, even when I'm sober, I'm like, dude, that means 30 calories. Are you an idiot? What the fuck does that mean? But I had no fucking clue what that meant. And I knew in my mind, I was like, oh man, we about to, the roller coaster is about to go, like we're at the top. We're going, oh man, what the fuck is 30 calories? And it's go time, man. Like I had no idea what time was, because I heard someone say like, it's 3 o'clock, and I was like, fuck, what is 3 o'clock? What does that even mean? What is 3? What does that even mean? Because we're all this stuff is just concepts that we create as man. Like if you really go up to like people that had no idea of math and stuff like that, they don't know what 3, 2, 4, 10 means. They don't know what calories mean. It just puts you in a state where you're completely disassociated with everything on the material plane, and it throws you fully into the spiritual plane. And man, it can really either excite and just ignite your love and your passion for this transcendental knowledge, or it's going to completely fry you out to the point where you don't know what's real life and you don't know what's physical life. Because shrooms, if you did not know, is very similar to compound 2 DMT. And DMT, a lot of people say this, I haven't taken it yet, but I will take it. Maybe I'll do a trip report on that on the Patreon. Ayahuasca, stuff like that, man, oh, definitely want to take it, but I know I'm not ready at that point. I know you're never ready, but I want to get more skin in the game. I've taken a decent amount of these psychedelic substances, but you want to keep getting those reps in, you know? You want to get that flow to it, get that understanding to it. And like I said, DMT is very similar to the compound 2 shrooms. So you're almost damn near at the tipping point of going full DMT mode. You're not fully at that level yet because you got a little bit more control left in your system, but you take enough, it's damn near a DMT trip. Damn near a DMT trip. And it's either gonna give you, like I said, give you that transcendental knowledge, ignite it, or it's gonna make you have that psychosis, because a lot of people with DMT, they come back, they're like, man, that felt more real than this life, than what I've been living for the past 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. That felt more real. And that is mind-blowing, bro, if you really think about that. They're not saying it just talking out of their ass, but they're saying it was so real to the point where they don't know if this is an illusion or that was the illusion. And that shows you that life is all a fucking illusion. The self is the only thing that remains constant and change. Because the self is always changing, but it's never changing at the same time. Because it is and it's not at the same time. So, especially when you take shrooms, you're gonna get a little taste of that. If you take a good amount of dose, you're gonna get a little taste of that. But I would say, if you don't go about the right way, the shrooms will show you shit about your soul, especially in your subconscious. Like acid will do this, but it's gonna make it more in a sense where it's very strategical, it's planned, it's tactical. Like, oh, I gotta do this so I can get over this problem. But shrooms are gonna show you the deep, the shadow side of you. That's why a lot of people, when they take shrooms, they have a dark night of the soul effect to them. They have that experience where they're like, they just come face to face with all the traumas, all the things that they've been suppressing for so long. It just takes it in the back of your mind and puts it right in front of your face. There's no hiding, there's no ducking, there's nothing you can do other than deal with it. That's why it's almost like you go through a workout, you go through a war, you feel damn near like you went through a whole ass like just battle within your own soul and your own idea and conceptualization of this world. It just rocks it, man. It tells you, oh, you think you know everything? Boom. Yeah, right, bitch. Like you thought, man. Like there's so much to this shit that you have no idea about, and it humbles you. It's a very ego humbling experience. Like I've talked about it before, how on my Discord, where though another similar effect I had an ego death or ego humbling experience was out surfing. And I'm not the best surfer. I just go out. This is like a hobby, man. I picked it up during COVID. I live near the beach. It's beautiful. It's one of the best therapeutic things, and just be able to detach things, because you can't bring your phone out there. You can bring your phone to the gym. You can bring your phone to your boxing thing. Boxing is very similar though. I'm not fully into martial arts, and I definitely want to get into martial arts, but I also want to keep the physique goals as a priority. So eventually when it gets to a certain point where I can maintain the physique and get into martial arts, I'm definitely gonna prioritize that more. But martial arts are very similar to this. With the gym, working out, it's not even close to things like surfing, martial arts, snowboarding, this stuff like that. But I was out surfing and the waves were getting big. Like, let me say this, 5 to 6 feet waves in the water is a different fucking breed than when you read it online. You're like, okay, 6 foot, I'm 6'3". So I'm like, okay, it's not bigger than me. Man, they measure it from the back, but the front of it makes it even 2-3 feet more. So it's a damn near 8-foot wave coming at me, and I'm laying down on the board. Man, bro, it was not surfing at that point anymore. It was just survival. And you got to just paddle out there. And I got one of the longer boards, so you can't just throw them under the water and the wave just passes over. It's called duck diving. So I'm paddling, and I'm dying, bro. It's a workout. It's just like the waves are so far out. There's hundreds of surfers out there, like the ones with the short boards, and they know what they're doing. Yeah, man, let's do it, bro. Like, I'm not like that, dude. I'm not like that. I ain't that nice with it. It's just a fun hobby. I'm just paddling, and there's some dude in front of me, and I'm just about to get over the wave. He's like, oh, it's time to drop in on this wave. Turns around, boom. He goes right into me. I get hit, and I'm backflipping. And the wave is literally in front of my face. Imagine it. The wave is going like that, and I'm just I'm under there, washing machine, just boom, 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 boom. I get up, another wave, man. Same shit. Get up, another wave. It was 4 waves in a row. And luckily, the set low-key kind of died. There was not as many waves coming. And I got up, man, I was like, fuck. Like, my ego was rocked at that point. But it was the only thing similar to that shroom experiences was that surfing experience. I'm pretty sure any martial artists out there who have taken psychedelics and have been in those fights and maybe got rocked in a fight, it's probably the same effect. Like, I think it's surfing more on a different level. Like, if you look at some UFC fighters like Max Holloway, who's from Hawaii, he says UFC, you got control of it. You're in the fight, you're on land, you can breathe air. But when you're out surfing, because he's from Hawaii, Hawaii has a big surfing community, he's like, man, that is way more scary, way more intense, way more ego rocking. So that's a little side tangent, but like I was saying, the shrooms give you that ego rocking effect, man, like no other. Acid has not done that to me, but shrooms has done that to me to a degree that I can't explain even in words. But I'm pretty sure DMT will do that on steroids. Ayahuasca on fucking TRT, HGH, it's gonna do that. It's just really gonna change your perspective on life, change your whole outlook on who you are. Who is this? What are you here for? What is all of this? What are we here for? It's gonna make you think about these things. Acid will, but you're gonna philosophize things where it makes sense to you. Shrooms is just gonna rip shreds into this fabric of existence, and it's gonna throw it back to you and be like, piece this bitch up together. Because I gave you little Easter eggs in there. Glue it all together, and when you put it all together, it's gonna make sense to you. Then come back to me, and we'll do it all over again. That's why I know personally, psychedelics call your name. They don't fucking dial up your numbers. Hey man, it's time to go trip. But your intuitive senses, if you're tapped into the spiritual side, it calls your name. I know if I take it right now, I'm gonna get the same experience, or damn near the close experience that I took before, because I still need to integrate all the lessons it taught me. But if I integrate all those lessons, intuitively I'm gonna know it's time to upgrade, time to use it as the next chapter. That's what I like to use it as. It gives me the teachings, the lessons, and everything for this chapter of my life. I'm gonna go integrate it. When it's done, it's time to get a new chapter, essentially clean everything up, wipe everything up, because shrooms especially, feels like you kind of cleanse your soul, cleanse your psyche, cleanse your mind. Acid is more you're connecting the dots together, but shrooms feels like you're getting spiritually cleansed. Like I always go to a body of water too after, like the hike either has a waterfall, a lake, or I go to the beach after, and I essentially baptize myself after I take shrooms. That's my ritual, and I'm going to talk about it more on the guide that I'm going to make on the Patreon. So it feels like a whole cleanse of my life, and this is the next chapter to it. But if I do it right now, I'm still in that same chapter. It's going to be like, bro, you didn't do the lessons I gave you. Like, you got to do it. You got to pass all these tests, the prerequisites, to get to the next chapter, to get to the next upgrade, to get to the next level of your spiritual development, spiritual progress, your overall self-mastery journey. And some people get to the point where they take enough psychedelics where they're like, I don't need it anymore at all. I've gotten everything. And how can you really quantify that? Your soul tells you that. You can't be like, oh, I've taken 75 grams of mushrooms with this amount of potency on this amount of days. Like, you can't quantify it. Your soul, it's intuitive. It tells you it's time to go, or it's time to shut it down, or it's time to just go complete sober, because I gave you everything. Now you can put it all into your sober life and then essentially live in that state if you put in the right spiritual practices and sadhanas to get you to that point where you embody it. Like, it's not just a fleeting state, it is your being. So that's what you're gonna get from shrooms. And like, the best way I can say, yeah man, it just throws you into a different world. Acid, you're still in this world, but the world makes more sense to you. Shrooms, you're in a different world that don't make sense to you, but that world will teach you more about this world than damn near anything, any book, any lecture, any just class. It's just going to teach you more than that, because it's a different experience. It's a transcendental experience. And when you get those transcendental experiences, it just unlocks different doors and just unlocks different concepts to what life really is. What am I here for? What am I doing? It's not so rigid. It's not so whatever everybody tells you, what your teacher tells you, what your mom tells you, what your dad tells you, what your friends tell you, what your favorite content creators tell you. It's telling you what you only can get for yourself. That's what gnosis is. It's a Greek word for knowledge, but it's knowledge that can only be gained within, and it's only knowledge that can be gained that's applicable to you. Only you can get this gnosis. Anybody can get similar amount of knowledge, but the gnosis is different. It's wisdom. Like I've talked before about on this channel, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Go check out that video if you haven't yet, because that's going to give you a better idea of what I'm trying to explain when it comes to this. It's a good little segue, you know what I mean? So with all that said, man, that is shrooms versus acid for me. And I'm gonna break it down further, you know, on all of these different types of topics on the Patreon. So if you want to get into that, if you want to lock in a spot, because certain tiers are going to be capped on maximum capacity. So if you want to get into those higher tiers where we do the monthly masterminds, let me know. Hit me a DM on Instagram or go in the community Discord server, shoot me a personal message. All of these links will be included into the pinned comment of this video as always. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. And I'm out of here. Peace.